Welcome, welcome, everybody.
What's up,
What is
people?
good, y'all? Okay.
Yeah, here we
Get
go.
the intro for everybody here. Ace of Strike, Apollo Hanzo, Welcome.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Okay. How's the volume going? Everything going good? We're good over here. We're good. Let's go.
Over here looking at the. Did the chat come up, brother?
Make sure it's not multiple. All right. Everybody could hear? Yep. I got the chat up. We're good. We're good. Hold on.
I'm gonna check the chitty chat too, man.
Always got to check. Always got to check.
I gotta check the chitty chat. All right.
Okay.
Turn down this volume.
Son says you're taking this a little too literally. I'm like, psh, let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we had a different thing planned for this week, but we thought we'd discuss this moment here. And a little disclaimer here: we might get into some political jargon because it's unavoidable, and maybe some racial components here to our discussion, and maybe even some religious components. You never know. So if you're uncomfortable with these things in relation to what is going on out there in the world, what we just witnessed last week, and the consequences of or reaction and just everything. So I just wanted to put that disclaimer out ahead of time to let you guys know that it might get some uncomfortable into some uncomfortable conversations for some people. And if it does, then cool. But I just thought I'd let you guys know ahead of time. You could tell from here what we're talking about, and it is all about this this moment in music. And first of all, let me welcome here. I am the one, Son, and welcome you guys
What's up, everybody?
Episode 4 here, where we were talking about this monumental moment in music that has gotten around out here. So, Tyrone welcome.
Tyrone in the house. What's happening, Apollo?
Tyrone says I'm very uncomfortable, but do it anyway.
Now,
says your mic sounds nice. Check 1. Your mic sounds nice. Check 2. Okay, yeah, good.
Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Okay, so the zeitgeist out here, and even Son, when we were talking about it as it was happening, we were like, yo, it's like, let's go on, because we could have reacted to it right away, boosted our numbers and all that other stuff and gone there. I didn't want to really capitalize off the zeitgeist. It's like I said to the last stream, I loathe doing zeitgeist stuff, but this is not that. This is so much bigger than that. And, in music, especially having the conversation about music, I think it is more relevant than ever. And I think we need to have the conversation about this performance and what it means and everything revolving around it. But I don't want to piggyback off the zeitgeist to the point to where we're not having a serious conversation, or we have to continue to put out a specific type of content. And we're going to continue to have these conversations every week, but this is the conversation of the week here. So we could have done this while it was happening, but we figured we'd let the dust settle and the smoke clear and the reactions come in and hit y'all on a Sunday when it's been a week exactly. George G. Welcome.
Brother George, fellow New Yorker in the house. What's happening?
So, if you don't know who Kendrick Lamar is by now, you're over 40, chances are, and you're a bit out of touch because Kendrick has been around for a minute. He's got all the awards and more that you could have as an artist, including the recent Grammys he just won. So I'm not going to go through line by line his history here. You know, that's what the internet is for. And if you don't know who he is by now, especially after the viral moments of this whole battle between Drake and Kendrick here, we all have access to the same technology, the same internet. So there's no point in me being redundant here about what took place. I just want to get a quick discussion on it and go through. But the guy earned his way to the Super Bowl for sure, and with the song between the Drake beef being such a big moment, seizing on that moment is exactly what happened here. So, you know,
Hey, Viral, you see who's up in here, man? It's my dude from the Starship Enterprise, man. Your buddy. But not my buddy, but your buddy, man.
Scott. Welcome. Yeah, touched up that hip hop track. Nice.
Yeah, that was
You know,
pretty
it's
dope,
like
Scotty. I really like that, man.
yeah, I can't do anything like that. That was beautiful. That was really beautiful. Like we were trying to think of what we were gonna do, and it was like, okay, so the twins love hip hop, you know what I mean? And it's been something that they've been craving. So let's give it to them. And you know, threw together the beat and sent it to him, and he's like, threw that on top of it. I was like, ah, I had something totally different in mind, and then it just led to where it led to, and yeah, it was great working with you, and yeah, and we we got that done in a pinch too. So
Yeah, Scotty has never officially actually met me, man. I made a comment to him. He kind of laughed about something I said over on the SRO page. But Scotty, what's up, man? This is actually I Am the One Son. This is the physical manifestation. What's
so
happening?
as far as the conversation goes here,
Yes.
if you don't understand why Kendrick was selected to perform at the Super Bowl, there's plenty of information on it, but just consider how far the Not Like Us track went. And for
Crazy.
those who don't know, you know, we went to South Dakota this summer for 5 weeks it was, and there were kids in the parking lot bumping it, and heard it a few times. You know, it was when Sturgis was wrapping up and everything, but yeah, it
I mean,
really went the distance.
we saw some new shit this year, man, with hip hop because you know, hey, look, correct me if I'm wrong, George, Destructo, jump in here on this one if you can, because I know, and Scotty, you too, because it sounds like you love some hip hop too. So the thing is that
Glue that track
I
together.
I don't think I ever seen a diss track win a Grammy before.
Yeah.
That's just new to me. Like I had never seen that. I thought I seen everything in music. I had never seen that shit before.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was marveled over 3 6 Mafia, a group like 3 6 Mafia winning something like an Oscar because they, you know, that was the first that something like that happened, you know,
Right.
when that transcended. But this is something totally different, you know, and bringing it to that point and how large of a track. I mean, God, we could have went viral so many times and done what Curtis King been doing and just riding it all the way out, you know, and just every time.
Shout out Curtis King.
Yeah, shout out to him. He went live today talking about this very thing and some of the things. Yeah, I just got off his live stream just a few minutes ago before we started up here, and you know, the reach has just gone so far. It's still being talked about. It's still being discussed right now, and it's not just with us, and I'm not just being ironic here with what we're talking about here. It's still in the zeitgeist
Mhm.
going, because it's such a big moment. So to not have him at the Super Bowl before, because this was how big the moment was before the Super Bowl thing. This just made the moment expand,
Yeah,
and it was,
magnified.
yeah, it's so now he has an opportunity in his career to do something truly great. Like this wasn't great enough. We'll get to the performance in a
But
minute
let me
here,
let me
but
let me ask
yeah.
you a question real quick. Viral, seriously, man, and you guys can jump in on the comments too on this one. Considering the gatekeepers and the powers that be, do you guys think that Kendrick, after such a performance and considering the state of the country right now, do you think that Kendrick possibly could be in some kind of jeopardy? I mean, with his, in terms of his life, and I'm being real, like all jokes aside.
I think he flew just under the radar enough to where even though the people who got it, the people who don't get it, they're not as loud as other voices. Like Trump was there, saw the whole thing. He's been silent about it. So he's talking about Taylor Swift getting booed to cover up his
That
own
was pretty
booze.
wild. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of scary in a way, right? Like, because Trump, like whether you voted for him or not, Trump be talking shit like more than a lot, right? So for him to be completely silent, not sure how he even taking that. That's kind of scary in a way.
And it's crazy because the people who are denying the impact of the performance or say that it was mid or whatever are just kind of like, denying the. I mean, for one, the choreography was on point. And when you have a big arena like that you're catering to, not just the, the TV cameras, what you're doing over here, you got the whole arena to stretch out on. And when you have that, I mean, you need that kind of choreography, but that choreography,
Mm-hmm.
that look, yeah, really good look. To your point, to your question, I would say that yeah, I think he flew just underneath the radar enough to where, if he kind of rides the line a little bit, then maybe it'll be okay. But I mean, he had some impactful statements. They try to rig the game, but they can't fake influence.
Right, 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 right.
And that was after the 40 acres and a mule. And I said that to you
Now,
when we were
now.
talking on the phone. Let me say hi to some people real quick.
Yeah,
Hold on
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. That's what I was getting ready
James,
to
James,
say.
Carbon Vibes. Welcome.
What's up, fellas?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, what's up, Carbon Vibes, man? What's up, man? You ain't see me in here, man. You said what's up to Viral. You said what's up to me, Carbon Vibes. What's going on, yo, man? Just messing with you, dog.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah. So that was a concern of mine for sure about like thinking about Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like dude safety or whatever. Because
yeah.
I mean we're in a really kind of elevated kind of atmospheric, with the country right now. Too,
One
so.
thing at a
But
point
yeah,
to
let
that.
me take these off, man, because I'm gonna look at everybody so like y'all can see my eyes. It's just that the sun was so bright, man, even for me. You know what I'm saying?
So to your point, because Trump was there, he had to cancel the pyrotechnics. So
Yeah,
there was a whole set of
yeah,
pyrotechnics that he had to shut down. But still, with that, was able to pull off a pretty good performance. Yeah, we saw. I mean, it was more than pretty good. People that say that it was mid and didn't get it or whatever. If you didn't get it, then why did everybody else get it? How did
right,
everybody
right.
else enjoy it? I've seen performances, and there have been some atrocious performances at the Super Bowl. New Kids on the Block with Disney. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, it's wild, man. It's completely wild to me how I guess how polarizing the performance ended up being for a lot of people. You know what I mean? It's really crazy how like the impact it had, both and I mean, and to say on both sides of the fence, right?
Yeah.
You had some people that really truly were like, yo, we love this, man. Other people were here. It's the worst Super Bowl ever. To the point, check this out. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. It was such an impactful performance, and it changed so much about how people are seeing things that the NFL commissioner, Goodell and company, his people actually sent out an apology letter to Lil Wayne.
Oh, wow.
For not selecting him to be the performer in his own city. Ugh. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I just saw that this morning.
I mean, I get it, but like that's kind of a weird thing, especially after the fact, and I don't think anybody who is from a city, and I understand New Orleans like that, and it's tight knit and all that other stuff. It's kind of. But I mean, since when does the person who's representative of the town become the performer just because, There hasn't been anything relevant as of recent coming from Wayne or his camp. I know that, Drake came up under his camp, but he's on the losing side of the fence here, who's having the moment here in music is Kendrick. And it doesn't make any sense to pivot from that moment and be like, well, check out what these guys got over here. Let's try to make this other moment happen that doesn't already exist. Like you're talking about taking a moment that already existed, that already had the steam going and already had this huge not only viral, but like it was already had a cultural significance, between hip hop and everything else in the zeitgeist. And it's crazy to take that and be like, oh no, we're going to go a different direction. But there's also the thing here. Look at the numbers. And, being on the commission and, Jay-Z was right before, so you got to give him credit. And if he's given carte blanche to do whatever, and then he's right again, as far as the numbers, you can't get out of the numbers. And,
undeniable.
How else did people watch the Super Bowl? I only watched the halftime performance. I didn't watch any commercials. I didn't watch any of the game. But in all fairness, I'm not really into sports like that anymore, and I don't watch sports like that the same way that I don't play video games, you know what I mean? And to that point, I don't listen to other people's music like that because not to, being narcissistic or anything like that, I just don't want my stuff to ever be influenced by what somebody else's music sounds like and subconsciously accidentally put something in my head that, might translate through me musically or whatever. So it's not only keeps me sharp on it, so it's not really a narcissistic point. So to that effect, I don't really listen to Kendrick. I don't really listen to Drake. I checked for Kendrick after Compton and listened through his catalog, and Drake with his history and battle rap and all that other stuff. But I never really was a fan of his music and style or whatever. It's just
look, the only reason I listen to even Kendrick is because my kids. That's it. I mean, I got grown kids, y'all. So, you know what I mean. But
we're aging ourselves here.
Before we continue, shout out everybody because there's a lot of people in here right now, man. So let's see what's up.
Turn.
Trusto, peace, God.
Welcome.
Moser, peace, God.
Did I get James Dyson? James Dyson again. If I didn't get him before. Welcome. It's crazy because James Dyson is such a huge fan of space and spacescape. So like that radical sun in the background's right up his alley. So saying shout out to James Dyson, looking at the sun is like dope to me. It's the little wins here.
Appreciate you, James Dyson in the house.
Tiger, welcome. Good time to pop in and say hello. But yeah, continue your point. We were talking about fans of Kendrick and
Drake. I mean, my kids, and especially my son, who's also a rap artist as well. Like I say, I used to be. I mean, I guess I still am, but I just don't participate on the daily like he does.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got turned on to Kendrick's music because of my son, and I actually thought, Young Blood got something to say. He got good music. So,
Yeah.
It's cool. Like I said, and I'm actually happy for his achievements because the guy has done some really profound work. Actually, if you consider it, I think if I'm correct,
Pulitzer.
yeah, Pulitzer Prize. I mean,
Pulitzer.
what rapper do you know has got a Pulitzer except for Kendrick, right?
Yeah,
None.
so to be
So
so out of touch, to have access to the internet and have access to the same zeitgeist that we're all in, that we could all see. I mean, no matter what your niche is, especially with the Kendrick Drake beef, not like us, this whole thing being what it has been, you got to know by now, or at least hey, if I don't know, let me go do some research. And if you still don't know at this point,
yeah,
you're out of touch.
well, no,
Just
just don't
acknowledge
use
that
the
you're out of
don't use the
touch with
don't
the.
use the internet anymore. Just stop.
Yeah,
Like
for
you
real.
you you do not know how to use a search engine.
For real, because even our folks across the pond understand what's going on here. You know what I mean? And understand,
Hey, Uncle
there's.
Jerry's in the house, man.
Oh, here we go.
Hey,
Uncle Jerry's World. Welcome. Yeah, I understand if Kendrick isn't your cup of tea musically, but even if he's not, you
right.
can't take this moment away from him. You can't deny the significance, not only culturally, but musically. He just got off the Grammys. You know what I mean? You get
Hey,
off the Grammys, you
Vic,
go party. You party at the Super Bowl. You know what he did? Party at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He
sure
went
did.
straight to work and
He
already
got
knew ahead of
nice.
time. Yeah, and this has really gone the distance. It's just one of
And you
those
know
musical
what? We
moments.
need to go ahead and I need to put some respect on it though, for real, man. All right. So look, we're gonna put some respect on Kendrick right now, okay? We're gonna put some respect on Kendrick right now.
Yeah,
So
and there's so many messages here, and God, Uncle Sam,
yeah,
and that's the thing. Like the people who are hating to the point to where they're like, I didn't understand. It's like Samuel Jackson's one of the most visible American
yeah,
figures, period. And for the Super Bowl, especially, he's been in like the most commercials on Super Bowl. Capital One, like he's done all kinds of commercials that year
yeah.
after year after year after year. And him playing that role, Uncle Sam, so many things had so many meanings, and it was just
It's heavy.
so heavy, yeah, and most of us got it. Most of us got it. Some of us didn't, but even the ones who didn't get it need to acknowledge what a big moment this is for not only Kendrick but hip hop culture, in general, you know what I mean? Because this doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
This doesn't happen, especially because people are talking about hip hop culture being dead last year, and I know that it happens every year. I made a big thing of it, and like, hey, it's stupid conversation that they have every year, but there's some validity to that, and some validity to his performance, because a lot of people still out here performing with a backing track, and he did that all by himself, like
Right.
a professional. He had the breath
You know
control,
what
he
was
had the
dope?
performance element, doing what he needed to do as an artist.
Let's dissect though for a minute. Let's go back for a second. So George, I see your comment, man. The performance was a complex metaphor. Great show.
Yeah,
And
for
and I was
sure.
gonna, and it's so funny, George, you said that because that's exactly where I was getting ready to head to. Is that from beginning to end, the show, Kendrick managed to do something that I've always wanted to see in hip hop anyway. If you're a lyricist, right, and you want to get nice lyrically, you should be masterful with metaphor. He not only comes with the metaphor lyrically, he came with the metaphor in a visual, visceral kind of aesthetic way, like where you could touch it. I mean, straight up from the whole entire PlayStation setup for the stage. It's crazy because I mean he
Squid Games
literally
PlayStation.
said his yeah, he said he literally said his life was like a video game.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, yo, this is crazy. This is heavy. I mean, from the opening bell, and then
That visual.
yeah,
God, that
crazy.
visual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just crazy. It's amazing. Like it was an amazing performance.
Yeah, and you gotta give it to all the all the performances. And keep in mind too, Kendrick is such the performer that this is not the first time he has performed on the Super Bowl
Correct.
stage.
Correct.
This is the first time he or any rapper solo on by themselves have just
Ever had a civil rights movement paid for by the NFL. I mean, you gotta call a spade, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not mince words. That's what that shit was.
and that kind of brings down I mean, God, yeah, I mean, we're getting down here with everything, as far as the conversation goes. And yeah, the message, and for those who don't like the politics of it, realize how political hip hop has always been from the
Yeah,
very
it's life.
beginning, from when they gutted the school programs, from the music programs out of the school and took all the instruments out. That's
Absolutely.
how hip hop came about.
Me and George, we were literally in the school when they were taking it out.
Yeah.
We're a part of that. That's exactly where we come from. That's exactly what occurred, And thank God for cool DJ Hurt, man. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
Hurt, he heard something different, Thank God for even, regardless of whatever's out there about Africa Bambaataa too, but thank goodness for, Africa Bambaataa and shout out Zulu Nation too.
The impact is the impact. Yeah.
And of course, the Grandmaster himself, one of the people I really look up to is Grandmaster Flash, So yeah, those three, man, they changed the whole equation and the course of my life.
And there's always been, from the very beginning of hip hop, especially in that golden era, there's always been a political element to it.
Definitely.
I was one of those white kids like Eminem who didn't understand, had the African medallion on at like 9 years old, collecting MTV Raps cards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I understood the culture. Not understanding the difference from my perspective at the time. But it's not like you
were a kid,
live the
man.
culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you didn't kind of come up in it, like at a certain point, or you didn't have that particular kind of experience in certain communities, right? I didn't always have the ability to walk in safety, is what I mean.
Yeah.
And I mean, not only sometimes like within my own community, but definitely always outside of my community.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like that's just, that was the reality of it. We just gotta, we that's just something we had to deal with. And so as part of your experience, you learn how to navigate that, but also you also learn how to face truisms, of your reality, right? You can't like walk away from it. And so like the real thing we should do though is not ostracize or isolate other people when they don't exactly come from that and don't understand it exactly. We should be out here educating people.
Yeah. And
So,
when people
more than-
say that it's like divisive or, seclusion or whatever, it's like, well, or exclusionary, it's like, you got to understand what it takes to make a moment like this exist, and all the trials and tribulations and hard work that goes through even getting to this stage, and to be able to just shout everything the way that you need to and just be so developed and on point is a lesson to everybody who's doing music, especially in hip hop culture, to where you could still have a voice, whether it be political. And yeah, he could have said a lot more, but like I said, he rode this fine line to where the people who will get it, and the people who don't will never, but there wasn't as big of a backlash, especially with the internet and all the hatred out there, that I thought that there would be with the history of hip hop and how people received it. And I think a lot of that has to do with people aging out of the hatred for it and appreciating or at least understanding that the culture is here and it's been here. I mean, you're talking 50 years now, you know. Most people who had an axe to grind about it have aged their way out of it, and there's still a small group, but that small group is so small and out of touch, it seems. They'll never get it, and, you know, and but that doesn't take away from the moment and the hard work and dedication that it took, especially when you're in those types of situations. And that's where you and Kendrick relate, you know, even being on completely, you know, separate sides, growing up on completely separate sides of the country, you know, and growing up in that kind of environment
Hmm.
and making it through to the other side, you know. And this was his moment. He seized the moment, which means he has another big evolved moment to seize as well, you know. And it just, this is what the impact of these musical moments become. They just
Yeah.
evolve and develop into this whole thing. And can we just pause for a second, be like, yo, a battle rap track. This was just all that brought here, but it wasn't just that. It was everything that he brought to the table before that battle rap track. It's everything that you have as an artist being able to put it into something, because the Not Like Us coming up is like, I said it a few times, you know, that was like the third most important or significant thing that happened, or fourth or fifth even, you know, with this performance. So it was that much of an impact on the culture to where, you
Hmm.
know, we're still talking about it regularly. And, you know, zeitgeist be damned, I wanted to make sure that we have an honest conversation about it and get out of our feels, other than you should be feeling good for this moment, regardless on where you land on the spectrum or whether or not you listen to Kendrick or support his music. As an artist, as a musician, you know, you have to respect and you know, give that respect to this moment in
No doubt.
time, because it's
And
just going to keep growing.
you know, thinking about that too, right? So, you know, of course you have the diss track itself. Like that's the embodiment of, you know, MCs in hip hop historically. We battle each other, right?
From the beginning.
But the crazy part is that it's sad in a way, but it's also good in a way. I think it's good because, you know, Kendrick also addressed and hit upon, you know, abuses and things like that,
Hmm.
systemic stuff that's going on in our society right now.
There it is.
And I mean, and that's heavy. I mean, it's a heavy, you know, accusation to throw at somebody. But the thing about it is, at the same time, you know, you think about their one-on-one interactions and things that they've known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, you honestly had to really do something to somebody or behave in such a way to have somebody have such a response to you in that manner.
And he didn't
'Cause
start this either.
yeah, exactly. It didn't start right there, but that's a heavy way to end the conversation. Believe it.
For
That's,
sure.
excuse me, guys. I'm a little congested right now. Hey, I wanted to tell Scotty something. I saw your comment, man, about you said I love PE. Scotty, I still love PE, man. Shout out to my man Chucky D, Terminator Exit, Flavor Flav. Even, you know, he kind of cleaned up. So Flavor Flav, love you, man. Okay, for real, for real. Um, and he'll know what I'm talking about if you ever watch this. Just think Pasadena, man. You and then we can holler. And then and of course, you know, to my man Professor Griff, yo, shout outs to you, my man. But yeah, and then also yeah,
Synthetic.
hip hop.
Gotta get synthetic
Oh,
too. He said, just
word,
come
word,
through real
word.
quick.
Synthetic. What's up, synthetic? And then yeah, and you're right. Hip hop definitely reverberates around the planet. It's, you know, it's definitely the
Around the
biggest
planet.
form of music that's ever existed. You know, whether people say they like it or not, you can't deny it. no
Every
matter what you
decade, a genre has passed the torch, but hip hop has just stood. And even though, like rock to some degree, rock isn't the same, and it hasn't been the same throughout. Hip hop, even though it has its subgenres and everything like that, and it really, goes the distance when you start webbing out into some of these subgenres. The house of hip hop is really really mighty, and like you said, travels around the world, and has been this powerhouse of a genre, and having this moment exist, just shows that to the world.
do
And
you know how many people? Okay, hey guys, look, this is the crazy part. If you guys want to comment on this, feel free to chime in because can you imagine you work at a company or you form a company, you hate rap music. You absolutely hate it. You hate rap music. You hate the brown people that are making it. And you got all kinds of mixes in between who were back then too making it and still are, but primarily a lot of brown people, right? And you can't stand the people, you can't stand the music. And just imagine you became a multi-millionaire off their back. That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy. Didn't even like it, but you will undervalue the actual people, but you will completely value the kind of money and power that music can create. The influence that it
try to rig
has.
the game, but you can't fake influence.
Yeah,
And that's why
yeah
that
that's
line right
something.
there pretty much sums up why Kendrick got to
Yeah,
the Super Bowl, but why he held on to this moment and made it such an impactful moment was not because of the diss track. Even though that smile
exactly.
was heard around the world, so was everything else, visually, and it was on point. It was on point, you know. What
James Dyson,
what can you
you are
say?
absolutely right, sir. I mean, man, we could. Yeah, I don't want to take the conversation
Yeah.
too off the rails, but man, just think about so many artists. Yeah, I could really go there, man. Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, um, Mr. James Brown. We could talk about like all the corruption that went on, all the songs that were stolen, entire career stolen, entire style stolen, and all the money that got made off the backs of other people that who created it, who worked really hard to master their craft just to have it taken, and they never saw a dime for anything that they made.
And it's crazy
It's crazy.
because it seems like around the world, like it's still the rest of the world respects not only hip hop, but music in general more
Yeah.
than the United States does, to where you still, as always has been the standard, really, if you want to, make it, you go to another country, pop over there, then they're like, oh, well, you're big now, now we'll mess with you.
So
That used
true,
to
man.
happen so much back in the day, but that's still, if you go somewhere else, you're likely to have a lot more success than being swallowed whole in this American music industry, especially, if you're from Compton. So this was a big moment, not only for Kendrick, but for the city. Why Serena Williams was there. It wasn't only the yes, everything else had to do with
Yeah,
it,
I
but
mean, like that whole thing. In all fairness, man, like you we could speculate, and it's speculation, right? In terms of her being there because she used to date Drake or whatever, right? But
yeah,
to be honest with you, I think really where it stemmed from her showing up was the fact that she got so much backlash from when she was at the top
at
of
the
her game playing tennis and she
yeah,
crip walked on the court.
yeah,
And they disrespected that lady as if she had never won Wimbledon already at this point multiple times.
yeah.
It's like, when somebody is at that level, man, you let them do whatever the fuck they want to do for
And these people act
especially if
like,
we're talking about dancing.
yeah, and we're talking like something that has already been normalized and commercialized and in the mainstream. I mean, Snoop Dogg made that mainstream long time ago, but he wasn't the first. You know what I mean? He wasn't the last either. So like, it's not something that's a big deal anymore. So to make a big deal out of it, especially the way that they threw her under the bus, she even said, "I was given the opportunity to dance at the Super Bowl. I took that opportunity." You
Absolutely.
should, I'm
Definitely.
paraphrasing over here, but yeah, simple as that, putting on with the people from where you're from, and a lot of people, they don't understand the West Coast environment, and having that big of a moment where they
Hmm.
come from, is it's such a big impactful moment to be able to make a statement like this, to be able to get your art off like this, to be able to just that this was just a
And
little
hey,
part of it. It was just
and
a little part of
while
it.
we're on it though, we might as well, man. Hey, shout out to and stand up Compton.
Yeah,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying? Great stuff, guys. Y'all, like I said, you in there, man.
Always, always, and the
Mhm.
history, and that's
Yeah,
and
they got a great history in hip hop.
like,
Man, the
y-
first time I heard Easy E,
y-
man, forget it, man. When I heard Easy E do, like, I had already heard like Ice T, but the thing about it is that when I heard Easy E, Boys in the Hood, man, from a guy and one of my boys who used to be in the military with me, man. Shout out to you, my man, Chris Guy, man. He went to Compton High School. That was my dude, and he was the one that introduced me to Easy E, man. So that was all love. That was like for me, I was like, wow. I said West Coast is definitely different than what we do. I said, but I'm loving this shit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I was that song was it was on point. It was the illest thing I heard like in a long time.
yeah, and that it went around in the mainstream. That was another musical moment that
Yeah.
transcended. That song really, really
Man,
transcended. I see Scott's question here. No, it's not a thing. It never really was a thing. It was just kind of a couple publications, just kind of blew it up to being a thing. There were a couple
yeah.
misunderstandings through music videos and some things back in the early 90s or whatever. But yeah, and there is a difference. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of competition, but there's no real beef and never really has been. There's always been a lot more love than there has been hate between the East and West Coast. And that goes for the Midwest and down South and everywhere else in America. It is largely a together group of people,
I
when it
agree
comes to
because
everybody.
when I used to, like I said, be actively in the business and stuff, and be going on tours, opening for acts. It didn't matter whether I was opening for some West Coast act or East Coast or Midwest even.
Yeah.
They all showed me love. It was never any of that kind of stuff. Now, guys, Viral and I, let us know if you want us to, but maybe one day we'll do a special edition so we can talk about the whole thing that happened with Pac and Biggie, and somebody else got to be in the middle of that one.
Uh,
Sup, Diddy? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, that is what it is. But you know,
yeah.
yeah, that was kind of like one of those one-off situations, guys. Like that was some evil corporate shit that went on with that. That was not really like
What's that?
the way we do stuff in hip hop.
What's that?
Trust when I say that.
Oh, the
That's
East West Coast thing? Yeah.
yeah, that's not how we normally conduct ourselves. So
Yeah, that was
that was
mostly a marketing
some weird
ploy
shit.
at best. And it
Yeah.
was just a couple of overzealous publications just kind of sticking it to the streets, and then the streets look at it, they're like, "Oh, you know, it was
Yeah,
the
trust them.
wrong thing said at the wrong time because that was at a time where gang culture was at an all-time high across America. It wasn't just the West Coast popping off. So it was really a big deal to throw that at the streets. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of lives that were lost. It wasn't just Biggie and Pac that lost their lives
Right.
over that.
Right. Oh yeah.
And it was
They were
just
just the
because,
biggest ones in the news. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it's, when it comes to the decision making, very specific things between the two of those, not between them, but there are very specific things that led to their, uh, passing. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was during
Yeah.
that
And yeah,
time
yeah.
though. So,
And let's not get too
we'll
off
not
track,
get into
brother. But
that.
still, we definitely could do a
Have
whole
a
entire show dedicated to that.
I was thinking
For
about
sure.
maybe one of these times doing a whole like an expose on the gangster rap era. It's like my favorite era. Like people can't understand why it's my favorite era of hip hop, like 92 to 90
And
96.
and I gotta address my boy Trusto, because Trusto, look, you said Tupac was a bright mind that failed in so many ways. He was young,
Yeah,
not enough knowledge of self. Man, facts, man.
yeah,
If he had been down with us, Trusto, and he had the, like I said, math of the day, man, my man, we could have acknowledged him, because the truth of the matter is that, you go, first of all, if you're not a gangster, don't play you a gangster, right?
yeah.
And I understand the street cred thing and all that. I got you, but you gotta know where to draw the line. You don't go to somebody's town, their territory, because you're a very famous, successful person, and stomp somebody out, and then you forget that they got a cell phone. That's
Yeah.
that's wild. Anyway, I don't want to go any much further than that. I'm just saying, like, because that's going to take us off. Like, yeah, that's going to take us down a crazy path. But that is, yes, sir, Scotty. That's a very, very dangerous game to be playing.
And that's the thing. You take the age of Kendrick Lamar, and he may be younger than us, but he's also like leading the new generation into it. So like, he's the right person to convey the right message at the right time. You
Yes,
know,
yes, I
pick
agree
the
with that.
wrong guy could mean so many ways.
Yeah,
It could be meant as so many things. You know, take it for what you will. Um, but this is the right moment for him as an artist to get some shine, and not only that, put into perspective the employ from those who have been reacting to this content and the amount of money that's been going into the coffers of these AdSense accounts because of Kendrick's moment. Kendrick has been responsible for so much commerce within the zeitgeist on a non-musical side of things, just on the YouTube side and social media side of things. Try to rig the game, but you can't rig influence. When you
yeah,
have such an
yeah.
impactful statement and that lingers around and it gets you to this platform and then you nail the performance, this is where it goes. So shout out to everybody who's been taking advantage of this zeitgeist. We didn't do it here for
Exactly.
very specific reasons, but we're doing it here just to let you know that, yeah, we're having this conversation because this is a musical moment that will live on in time as one of the greatest moments to ever exist in music. There's
All
been
right.
these big things, this list. Hold on, let me get you
Yeah.
over here.
Go ahead.
Alex Star. Well. Okay.
Hey, and Trusto, man, yo, man, I'm gonna have to call you outside of this podcast, because yeah, I have to tell you about that one time when I talked to Suge on the phone. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. That's it. I'm not saying nothing else. I'm not gonna talk about it on the show, but man, yo,
So
that was an experience.
so let me go down the list over here because I pulled this up before because I just wanted to get my facts straight because there have been a few, and this kind of is going to live in infamy, not just like this performance is the culmination of not only the Grammys, the songs, the diss track, the moment that hip hop brought together, the accolades before this, with the Pulitzer and having already performed on the Super Bowl stage, but this performance specifically is going to live in infamy because he nailed it. He nailed it, and everybody in the stands who didn't get it was watching the people. They were watching the people in the stands like, hey, they get it, and most people got it. But check this out. So going down the list, this is not scientific or anything like that. Freddie Mercury tribute concert for the AIDS awareness.
Yes.
Elton John's doubleheader at Dodge Stadium. Like a Virgin at the VMAs. Let's see. The Altamont Speedway Free Festival, the Rolling Stones concert, the thing on the thing. I'm going down the list over here. So the Jackson 5 debut on American Bandstand, Ebony and Ivory, the Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder collab. Bob Marley performs 2 days after getting shot. The Who on the Smothers Brother Comedy Hour. Nirvana, MTV Unplugged. Johnny Cash walks the line when he went to the Stockholm prison. Or what was that hold on, let me make sure I got it right. Was that the place that he went to? I don't know. He went to the prison or whatever. So the launch of MTV. The Wall Meets the Wall, the Pink Floyd thing. Michael Jackson's Moonwalk. Sugar Hill Gang reaches the top 40. Bob Dylan goes electric at Newport. Elvis on the Milton Berle Show. I hope I said that right. Jimi Hendrix plays the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock. Queen at Live Aid.
That was a great show, Live Aid.
The Beatles, Ed Sullivan Show. And the number one is what they have here listed. Beethoven premieres the Ninth Symphony. So somewhere within this list of things that have happened, and I know there's a lot more that have happened as far as cultural and musical significance. DL, welcome.
Yeah, in the house.
But that's just a list. That was from moho.com or whatever. They compiled it, just going down the list of things. But yeah, those are some pretty big moments there. I mean, I guess you can include other Super Bowl performances. Janet Jackson and the titty out. But that was an accident. That was an accident.
That was outstanding.
Oh, Scott, thank you for gingerbread cookie.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Man. Yeah, so somewhere in this moment here, somewhere in the moments of social significance.
Byron, hang on for a second. Hey, Scotty, since you're just feeling generous, I'm just going to send you my Cash App, Venmo, or some other type of payment platform. I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, I got that in the back, too. No, I appreciate it. Here we go. Twin Cities.
Twin Cities. And a DL, man, you're doing real good, man. I haven't seen anything disappear.
That was no accident, yeah. Yeah, she had tinsel on it. Yeah, see, I know she'd be wearing shit like that, but that shit was on purpose. They try to play it off like it was an accident.
I'm not sure it was on purpose, man.
I
just say this, man. Like I'm glad it happened, though. You know what I mean? It was an important
the world is better for it. But it was something that was talked about. That is like totally diminishing this type of performance, this type of thing. Like, God, like, yeah, you're like looking at the We Are the World shit. Like, like you're talking like these moments, when Martin Luther King was assassinated and Jimi Hendrix played when the shit was going on, they told him not to, and Yeah, damn the Woodstock performance. You know
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Martin Luther King Jr. performance that was impactful. You know, one of those moments. You know, and yeah, it's kind of like you were saying. You know, worrying about whether or not he's going to be okay with making this kind of a statement because you can't make this type of a statement without ruffling some feathers from the powers that be. But I think a lot of the silence from the powers that be, other than Newsmax, I've seen the right wing zeitgeist or whatever go nuts on it. But they look and sound out of touch, because even the people that support them were in South Dakota talking about they not like us, they not like us. You know what I mean? Like it has gone like
everywhere.
kids and everything. If you don't understand the words, then that a 5-year-old understands, then it's crazy. I mean, there may be some things that flew over your head, but like let the moment breathe, and
Yeah,
let the man have his moment.
brother. I don't know, man. I think allowing groups of adults to feign ignorance. Like I
Yeah,
don't know what he's saying. I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah.
To me, that's like that'd be like us saying, hey, someone's dumb, and it just gives them a pass
It reminds
to
me of
be to
Chappelle
be
on that
to be
first
dumb,
episode. I
right?
don't understand you. Like it sounds like that parallel. Like you
Yeah,
sound really,
yeah,
on that side with things. But the majority aren't, regardless on how this election went and the way that things are. That was a statement in and of itself. It doesn't mean that the people that exist out here in this world are insignificant. It doesn't mean that
exactly.
this music isn't going to expand and grow, and these statements are just going to be swept under the rug because the election went one way or another, regardless of the political statement affiliation or
Agree.
the response from the political zeitgeist. If you're hearing that this was weak or can't understand it, and maybe you should listen to somebody else, because like those people do not have the best interests of anybody who cares about music at heart. So if you're listening to that and you're hearing people who do music talk like that, then that's a danger in and of itself, because regardless on where you land and what genre you practice, you have to give this moment its shine and acknowledge the fact he didn't have any backing track. He had enough to fill out an entire stadium's worth of acknowledgement to be able to do the choreography and run through this whole thing. And yeah, just nailed it. Just nailed the performance. Just
Absolutely.
nailed it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Without any question, man. Look at DL, man.
DL, appreciate you. Love and support. Yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Super chat for sure. Yeah,
Super, super dope, guys. Good
yeah.
stuff.
So, what do you guys think in the chat here? What do you guys think of Kendrick's moment here? Of it's not only his moment, it's hip hop's moment too. But like, I mean, that's what brought it here. But like,
Got to get these polls running, bro.
yeah,
Polls
yeah,
running. You need to
yeah.
get these polls. Hey, sister Marilyn, we're gonna need some help with these polls. Yeah, can you
I wonder
school
if you
us?
can do it
That's,
as a moderator because you're a
I
moderator.
think
I wonder
so.
if you could
I
just
think so. I think so. You might have to
maybe
give me a little
maybe
bit more expanded capabilities in there, though. So
I don't know. Let's see. We have Destructo and Tyrone, who are the super mods of the channel.
super, super.
Are you requesting super moderator privilege?
That is a negative. I will leave that completely up to you because I might go in there and just start deleting stuff.
Hey, so
Because
hey,
you
we'll
know
see.
I'm all about that malicious intent.
I know that the super chats eventually tire themselves out and go away or whatever. But now the question's going to be, when your message self-destructs, can you self-destruct a super chat? I haven't
Right?
seen that yet. Try it, DL. Let's all seek. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the performance here? Let's Kendrick murdered it, and people are dying from it.
No,
Yo,
you see
yo.
Scotty's comment? Scotty's comment. That's hilarious, Scotty.
There's a simple.
That is a sample right there for real.
Are you super mod, bro?
That is hilarious, man. That's on point.
Yeah, we could have went live right away. We could have really seized on this moment, not only for Super Bowl, but every moment in between
did.
here. And we almost did. We almost did. We were
then
on
we
the
said,
phone.
let's
So let's
let
set
it
this up. I was like,
simmer.
let's let it breathe and just talk about it for the show.
Yeah, let's let it simmer a little bit. So what else do we need to cover here? Because like I mean, there were definitely some far-reaching implications. This
we had worked out like a bullet point list of things, and actually we went all the way down, and we're all that we've covered everything. The why it matters, I guess, is the big question, like why this performance matters so much. I think to answer that question, first and foremost, to those who are making music, it gives you that drive to achieve what he has accomplished here. Maybe not through the means of a diss track or whatever, because that just happens. And it's a lesson in things that just happen, but it didn't just happen. He seized on that moment and put that music out, so he had a lot to do with it. That is the message here, to let the people know that you have the ability to seize the moment and the opportunity to put it out there, even if you think it's not going to go out there. Because who would have thought a diss record, not even the first one, like the third or fourth, I thought Meet the Grams was going to go a little bit, it was a little too dark, shout out to Curtis King for throwing that, what is that, the rendition that he played on there was really, really good. I'll have to get you guys back on that. But I think it was a lesson to all those striving to achieve something in music, and a lesson in understanding that the universe decides when that moment is going to be. You don't get to choose. You just get to participate. And as you're participating, just do your thing. And as you're doing your thing, something might come along the way to where you could just, hey, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to do something with it. Hey, this kind of goes in the line of this, so I'm going to grab this and do with this. Oh, you want to keep going? Let's keep going. I got more. I could keep going. And that's exactly how this turned out. And even as recent as this morning or last night, there was another deflated response from Drake on this whole situation. Talk about he didn't want to beef, but then going at Joe Budden's like, yo, you're a year late on that. You're a year late on that, and it's crazy.
It's not even worth. I honestly, hey, just hey Drake, if you listening, dude,
stop.
Don't say nothing no more, man. Just
stop addressing people directly.
Like put that shit on hush right now, dog. You need to seriously put it on hush, homie, and just let that shit die down and go about your business. You got plenty of money. Shit, I mean, look, dude, take your money, man. Leave the rap game.
I get that he's trying to hold on to his legacy and all that other stuff, and those things.
He need to move to fucking Spain and be making wicker baskets or some shit now.
This is one of those things. Speaking of the impact, I understand that. I mean, I don't understand directly, but what it means to be a public figure to that capacity and be so publicly humiliated effortlessly on accident, and have that be a footnote in the tail end of this performance and not the main focus, even though the smile.
Yeah, Scotty. Niles
Niles
Cushion.
Cushion. Welcome.
Nile.
I think the most
Yes.
valuable gift that one musician can give to another is to show them that a new or different style can be successful. And that's another thing to take away
Yeah,
from
that's a
this,
pretty dope comment for sure.
Kendrick, even coming from where he comes from, has his own developed style coming from that. His hard work and dedication shine through his music, but his music is original and still representative of where he
Mhm.
comes from, which is all we could ever ask or ever need in hip hop. And something that not only Curtis King touched on, but a few other people have touched on, um, especially with this AI thing, I think where it's going is the direction of people understanding that you have to be good. You have to be polished. You can't just
Yes.
sit there and slouch. If you look at the 50th anniversary of hip hop, some people nailed it. Others rapped over their song and just stood there and were really boring with it, and there's a lot in this game. There's a lot of, older and younger alike who are really boring on the
Uh,
stage and thinking that their song could carry the weight of the performance, but it will not carry the weight to be able to seize this type of moment or
right.
any kind of
Right.
moment that is like this, because it could have just ended at the Grammys and been okay. Yeah, that's great, Uncle Sam.
It didn't. It didn't. Yeah, it didn't end there.
Went
Certainly
all
did
the
not end
way
there. And shout out to Samuel L. Jackson.
for
Shout
sure.
out to definitely to the way, not just Serena but Venus, to the Williams sisters for everything they've done, not only in sports but the larger community, and putting lifting Compton up too. And definitely shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
Like, powerful stuff, man.
yeah,
Powerful stuff.
yeah. It really is, and yeah. Shout out to Compton for giving us such good and
Yeah,
powerful
over
music and
music over for
performances
years and years and years,
and
just coming out with
influence. Yeah,
great
you could
stuff,
rig the
man.
game, but you can't rig influence. You can't fake
Absolutely.
influence. And that's such a dope line coming from this moment. And hopefully, this puts people who aspire to achieve such a great performance and have such impact understand what it takes, the development as an artist. This is just what he's done recently. This is after the Grammys, after the Pulitzer, after being at the Super Bowl, after, insert accolade here. It takes a lot of pushing in this industry to be able to even have this moment available to you, you know. But if you have this moment available to you and you're not ready to seize on it, you know, he certainly was ready to seize on it, and seize on it he did. And
Yeah, yeah.
powerful, like you said, powerful stuff, and powerful statement. And the impact is still going to be felt, especially when the continuation of this conversation
So
just
yeah,
keeps going.
speaking of which, okay, so guys, look, I seriously, please chime in on this one. So, do you guys think after Kendrick's performance, this is the first of many to come? Or is this the last time the Super Bowl's ever going to see anything like this?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because somebody mentioned the fact that after seeing something like that, the reason for the silence is because it's now going to be forever changed into something else. Now, how do you do that without the voices going up into an uproar? And I hear what you're saying, Niles, about attaching the crip walk and to hip hop and everything like that. Um, but there's nothing more hip hop than representing where you're from, and in that moment and in these moments, it's one of those things that even if you understand the culture, even if you understand the music, there's a lot of people that, even with those understandings, will not understand Compton or not understand the culture on the
Yeah.
West Coast. So there's a lot of things that
And then it's
I
also,
go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, man, not to cut you off, brother, but to just say that also, when we think about, obviously Seawalk and people automatically relate it to the gang, right? That's
Yeah.
their official, dance. But the thing is like you guys should look that up. That actually that Seawalk actually originated from a different source. It was yeah, I don't want to get into it, but you can look it up for yourself, and you'll see that it had nothing to do with gangs in its original state, and it was adopted into gang culture. So, and then speaking of which, if you think about like and I know Destructor will probably chime in on this one. You guys know that the Crips and Bloods didn't even start out as like gangs like you think. They were actually organizations to help uplift their community.
Yeah.
So
Community
like, we
organizations.
we we can go into a whole nother show about the
Yeah.
destruction of how that happened and how it broke down and how it ended up becoming what it became. So that, yeah.
So
So
as long
anyway,
as Jay Z is a part of
I
it, hip hop
obviously
is
I
not going away.
digress. Like,
Go
so
ahead.
I need to stop right there. Though.
Yeah, I mean that's another that's a whole other rabbit. But that's the thing, like this kind of thing leads to that kind of conversation because of where he's from, and the awareness of where he's from is what people should be talking about, because people need to be aware of where people come from and how things are
Right.
where they're at, because it is what creates this great music, and you got to know where the source is, and for to be able to express that in this moment, it's just such a powerful thing.
Yeah. See, look, you guys
Yeah, here we
see
go. Yeah.
Destructo's comment? Man, Destructor, man,
Let's see what we have
that is
here.
so on point, brother.
Due to negativity the NFL got for
And
it, they might have to
we
change the way they allow people to voice their opinions during the show. Yeah.
and then look
Call
at
it
his
crip it is.
see,
We
look at
call it
the yeah.
second limb budget. Yeah, shit. We were protecting our own. It wasn't supposed to be like the before. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Some said that's heavy, man, and that's real.
Yeah, people don't understand the
That's real.
community resistance and progress. That's the thing about it. Either way, it's like you said, you could go on a long. We could have a whole show about that.
Yeah, we go there, man. That's like a 6-7 hour show for
Yeah, but
real.
this here, not only with the cultural impact, but the fact that, especially for places like Compton, it's a dark time for a lot of people. You know what I mean? In a
Yeah,
lot of
and
places.
many hoods around all the United States right now.
Yes. So this was a very bright moment in a dark time for a lot of people. And I don't mean to, say that, with any kind of pun, innuendo, or anything like that. It's just, I think with, I think before this moment became what it turned into, the culture was, from an outsider's perspective, hanging on by a thread.
Hmm.
I think from an insider's perspective, everybody still embraced the culture and it's growing and, expanding and doing what it does. But I think the outsider's perspective was kind of losing grip of it, even with Busta Rhymes and his commercials for Walmart, and Naughty by Nature, and even Chris Calico, Genius on the Apple commercial. You know what I mean? Just the song,
Shout out.
no matter how ingrained it is, with people not noticing how ingrained it is into our culture, into our world, into our lives. I think this was a reminder of the culture and how big it is, and how big of a moment comes out of this cultural and this thing we call hip hop. You know what I mean? Because it's exactly what has been needed for a while. And it's like I said, I keep saying I don't think anybody could take anything away from that. It's just
Yeah.
it's such an impactful moment, and to just nail it to a T and create so many different viral moments from that. You take away this moment, you take away all that revenue, not only from the Super Bowl being the most watched, but the halftime being the most watched, and people like me who only watch the halftime show.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah, I
not
mean,
even
like,
one commercial. I just watch the
it's
halftime and
crazy. It's
that's it.
crazy. Yeah, and see, Niles was just saying that too. That like that's all the NFL cares about, and Niles, like you hit the nail on the head. That's on point because these big corporations and these big brands, they don't care about
Yeah.
anything that they are promoting. They care about the end result, and that is the profit margin,
Yeah.
and that is it.
And the profit margin is great for the NFL, regardless on those who didn't get it. That's why a lot who didn't get it are keeping quiet about it because the powers that be that control their lifestyle and their zeitgeist or whatever, they're not allowed to say anything negative about it because that's who funds their ad revenue. So, and it's been doing
Man,
great for ad
man,
revenue all over the
well,
world, especially on YouTube over here. Not
how
with us
funny,
though. We're
how
not.
funny is that? How funny is that? How ironic is that,
Yeah,
right? And they just can't say anything. How about that? That's crazy, man. So, that just makes you think, man. Whenever people doubt it, right? Like, is the narrative being controlled? I I'd I'd say so. I think that we're being deceived, manipulated. You
obviously
know,
Kendrick could have said a lot more and chose a very strategic method of keeping things to an even
I
keel to
mean,
keep.
come on, man. Look, you go too far, man. That's like when you get one of those unalive moments, right? And
Yeah,
I would rather see the brother stay alive than be unalive.
I definitely look forward to his next moment that he seizes on because he is not the type, and nobody from Compton is the type to just sit down and take his trophies and go home. You know, he's got he's got quite the distance in his music to go, and to be this successful at this age and have this big of a moment is something that we should all just acknowledge, embrace, and
Yeah,
enjoy and
I agree
celebrate.
with that. And I think a big changing point, I don't know Kendrick Lamar guys, but I have seen quite a few interviews with him. The words from his own mouth. And I think a big changing moment for him was when he had kids. I think that kind of changed his perspective of how he saw the business, how he interpreted the business, and how he was interpreting the people in the business.
Yeah.
Because he took that very serious into heart, and know, Raul, at the end of the day, man, you know, we're all Americans, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to that effect, when it comes to the National Football League and what we have here, American football, um, there was a lot of red, white, and blue elements. There were a lot of
Definitely.
national imagery in that, not only representing, hey, this is America, like that song goes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Childish Gambino, shout out to
Yeah.
you too. Shout out, shout out. That's,
So you
that's
got to
my doogie
take
right there.
the history with it. And that's what I meant about being such a dark time because they're trying to strip the history. And this is why I put that disclaimer at the beginning of this, too. This is where we get into uncomfortable conversations. They're trying to eliminate the Department of Education and strip it of any education of the history that this country has faced.
Yeah, it's time for them to rewrite the narrative. George, what kind of American are you? Yeah, man, George, man, don't be trying to get us in trouble right now, man. George, me and you gonna talk offline, bro. Like, cause you, man.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about such a big moment too, because even though this is traditionally, it's American football, it's American music. Hip hop came from America. You could attest to that. You were there for it.
Definitely.
you
Yeah.
know, um, and
Well, I mean, actually, like, if I'm gonna keep it, 100,
let's go.
hip hop came from Africa, man. Like, I mean, the original lyrics, we talking about, an African, poetry here, so like, yeah, we could really take it somewhere else, but like, that's another show too, because we can go through a deep, deep
Yeah, if you
history
want to talk about
of
cultural impact of music, we're talking
yeah,
about the cultural impact of a moment. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's the
yeah,
thing about music. It is so big, it is so expansive, it is such a huge thing filled with these moments that, yeah, they get up there. And even those across the pond, shout out to you guys over there. Um, you guys know what it is, and most of you guys get this moment, understand
yeah.
this moment, understand the history in the way that a lot of Americans here don't, and I think that is the most relevant point of this conversation and the reason for having it here on this platform in this particular channel. And I know we didn't do any live content. That's because we were working on the other thing, the hip hop joint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fitting that this house of hip hop, and there's always been this theme for our particular channel, but and I know that I've seen a couple people drop off and a couple people come through, but you got to know that if you don't embrace the hip hop, you might want to go to a different channel because shit's about to get incredibly real over here,
I mean,
for all the hip hop
and
stuff.
and
So
again, I want, and by the way, Destructo, that's a funny ass comment, bro. But I was gonna say that, you know, the thing about it is that, we, Viral and I, and I think, 99% of y'all that are in right now, y'all are all like actual real grown folks. And
yeah,
what I mean by that is that if you're not mature enough, you're not mentally mature enough, psychologically stable enough to have real conversation and deal with like real shit that real men and women are speaking on, then yeah, definitely,
yeah.
I want my boy's channel here to grow. I want to support the growth of his channel. But if y'all, the people that can't handle it, hey, no disrespect, bump
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
I'm
A
saying
couple
because
things we're not going to do here. We're not going to be culture vultures and sit here and react to the zeitgeist on a regular basis. But this is beyond the
you just see
zeitgeist.
Scotty's comment real quick. Scotty,
You
you the
calling
phone
me,
shit, Scott.
yo, no, this is the thing about it. Age isn't a
Oh
negative
man.
connotation over here on Viral Beats. We're mature and civilized over here, and that's the thing about civility. We're able to have conversations and understand things in the world that a lot of people don't, and it's kind of our responsibility at this age to use these platforms to our
Yeah.
benefit and let people know where we stand on things because you know I might have that DNA and that complexion, but I live and breathe hip hop and I've been around long enough to understand the culture and and been a part of it long enough to add my commentary to it with no half stepping at all, because over here, especially, we encourage those like us to be unapologetically yourself, and we are unapologetically ourselves here on the channel, and this is a part of it. There's no hiding from or excluding yourself from what made you who you are. And if people
Absolutely.
think that this moment with Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl was, not inclusive enough, just think about the shoe on the other foot of all the imagery of things that are not inclusive to that demographic, especially when it comes to hip hop, especially when it comes to places like Compton, and especially when it comes to being marginalized in the music industry, which no matter what genre you practice,
Hmm.
you are beholden to this, especially in America, where music is not respected. It is not an honorable profession in a lot of
Man,
circles.
you are not even lying, man.
So, what are we
You're
going to
not
do
lying.
here? Are we going to deny the right of another man's musical moment and pretend like this culture doesn't exist just because your sensitivities about some other political affiliations or some things you heard from? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. We're not here to have that conversation. We're here to let you know that we understand and embrace the culture and what this moment represents to the community as a whole and the world in general. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. But still, you still have a seat here at the table if you don't get it, just as long as you let the man have his moment. Let the man have his moment and acknowledge that he's going to have more moments because how
Yeah,
old is he? 36, 37 years old?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's just getting started, man. He just getting started, man. That's a youngster, man.
I talked I talk
He's a
like I'm the
bright
young
he's a
one in
bright
the
youngster
crowd in
too.
my circle over here and I'm 43. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
shout out to his generation. He is a good shining example on what you should do and the moves that you should make, having been approached with the opportunity and given your history, and seize that moment. The
Oh
moment
man.
has been seized.
Hey, I was gonna just say, hey, thank you, Uncle Jerry,
I
man.
appreciate you for
Appreciate you,
sure.
man. And Destructo, man. Hey, your comment about the cousins in China, man. Yo, man, between my Chinese heritage and my Nigerian heritage, brother, those are probably my relatives that are gonna be helping with those shirts. so, so
Yeah, so and that's the thing, like, especially with how long it has been, the diversity here. Like, yo, my family's been in this country since 1634, right? It was before it was even a country here,
yeah,
right?
man,
And
you got
still, all
big.
European descendant over here grew up in the Southwest. Like, we got some diversity here, and I know it's not diversity as far as like the square world is concerned, but as far as like the cultural representation here, it really extends and transcends beyond those realms. And breaking through this hip hop culture is, it's one cult it's the community of hip hop, and the house of hip hop
Yeah,
expands and it represents so many other cultures. That's why it's so diverse. No matter how it was created or who or how it represents around the world, it is embraced largely by every
it really
community.
is, man. It's crazy. Like, for those who are well traveled, y'all know exactly what I'm saying. I have been to some weird places that are far out countries in the middle of nowhere. And I can tell you that it's crazy when I have people come up to me and ask me if I'm a rapper or do I know these rappers or whatever the case may be. And if they find out you actually can rap, man, forget it. You don't even have to be an actual star as long as you got some bars. And they freaking love it, man. They love it. And
Yeah.
it's absolutely amazing like how like the kind of reception you get when people of other countries get a chance to hear and experience someone from another country who can do that kind of thing. It's the appreciation is like so next level, man.
Yeah, and speaking of America attempting to rewrite history, I think that, especially with how long it's been and it's been most recent, especially with all the diversity that exists within, it's a lot more difficult, especially with the internet, to take that away, having known what the previous situation was. Like, you can't take that situation, put it over this one. You just have to wipe it all out and start from scratch. But we're all alive and have memories and see this moment for
Exactly.
what it is.
Exactly. And I'm sorry about
No, I got it.
Scotty got me laughing over here with his comment. It's so crazy. It's so
Definitely
crazy.
don't.
Scotty, you wild,
No,
man.
they asked you shit like, yo, tell her giving all she's got. Yo, I need to give you the beam me up version of our piece because I totally went a different way with it. Yeah, I gotta. I sampled. I sampled like every single version of Scotty,
So
and went on this
Scotty,
long thing from Family Guy. It was so
yeah,
great.
that's gonna be my request, Scotty. Like I'm gonna like literally just sample you speaking. That's it. Like I'm just gonna have it just constantly going, and I'm just gonna take the whole conversation and break it up into little bits, and it's gonna have like a whole entire library. I'm gonna sell it. It's just gonna be called Scotty.
You know, he's just giving you shit, man.
I love it, man. I love that. That'd be awesome.
So yeah, you know, I think God, like I think that we have covered, you know, just about everything,
Yeah.
you know, as far
Yeah,
as like
yeah.
what the bullet points were or what we wanted to discuss and some. The reason why we develop bullet points for this is because it's really easy to get knocked off the
Yeah.
rails when you start introducing things like politics and race and religion. We didn't get too heavy on
And
the religious aspect. We did,
we didn't even get there too heavy, even in race either. So like we did good, man.
yeah. But you want to get
controlled
into the
our own
religious, that
narrative.
we ignored the whole religious aspect of it. You know what I mean? That I don't know. You know, it's this is it. You know,
Hey,
music's our
you guys got
religion.
to let us know though if you want us to go like really deep dive into
You know,
some of these
off the
things.
rails, off the
Yeah,
rails.
let us know if you really want us to go there, because you know I mean we can really go there if you guys want us to, because me between myself, Viral, and I will include Destructo in this thing. Man,
We seen some things, man.
we will go in if you guys so choose. And
I use levers and Delta
and
9 as a
hey, and the thing
shit.
is, I think I'm the oldest one out of the three of us, huh? Because I'm older than you and Destructo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are those
The old one.
they youngsters, and I am truly one of the ancient ones.
And I think that's one of the things that's
Word,
most relevant
Destructo.
is over
Listen,
here.
but yo, man, you gotta jump in there with some of
Do what
these
you
things.
like
with us,
them
man.
down. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to get like the sound of Destructo's voice chiming in on here, but just with his profile
Yeah.
pic of that
Yeah.
mask
So
where it's just like
Destructo, even if you even if you don't even do
like
like go full live video like we
nah, he
doing,
ain't
man.
gonna
Even
do
if you could just do the
it. He
audio,
ain't gonna do it.
that would be freaking dope, man. Like,
Yeah.
cause I mean, you got a powerful voice, man, and you know you got like mad history in the game, dog. So
Nope, I'm out.
respect,
See ya.
respect.
No,
And Scotty, you gotta guess, man. You gotta guess, man. If you, man, dude, guessing, trying to figure
yeah,
that
it's
out is
crazy to
crazy.
say that because I was just dusting off some cobwebs off me. Yo,
Yo,
I
Destructo,
think
don't
you know.
worry,
See,
brother.
shout out to you,
We
Destructo.
need you.
Like, you know, I know that a lot of the things that are said and done behind the sidelines are what they are, you know. But you coming from the same area without revealing too much about you, God, what a moment, huh? You know. I
No
mean,
doubt.
without getting too deep into it, you know, this is huge for the West Coast, you know, and it's huge for hip hop, you know, it's huge for music, it's huge for everybody who really just got these moments. These
Did you hear?
moments.
Hey,
Here we go.
Bro, this. I think this was Destructo when he saw Weapon. Look right here. Look up.
Look at that. Look at they froze you. It froze. I think it's your animated background that's doing it. It's all good.
All right, we're gonna switch that up then. Look, we're gonna go here. All right, we good.
Space.
All right,
Excuse
that's
me
more
while I
peaceful.
kiss the sky. Yeah, once I put
Yeah,
that,
yeah. You know,
when I did that, Method Man sample over there on that production, that's when I was like, I got to take off this joke stuff and I got to get serious with this for the guys, because they got to have a hip hop happy birthday. So
yeah,
so
yeah.
anybody who didn't see that, go check out the last bit of video that we did. Scott and myself worked out this hip hop piece for the guys. So if anybody has somebody that they love who's having a birthday and loves hip hop music or whatever, send that to them. Because it's gonna go there. I saw
Hey,
somebody share it the other day. Shout out to you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming through on this channel. And yeah, for like I said, for those who don't care for the hip hop, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to get serious with this shit. Like serious,
yeah.
because
I
like
mean,
we've already done we've done a few the hip hop reactionary videos and stuff like that, and I know that we're kind of knee deep in this album, and as I'm working on this and focusing more on the music element side of things, what I'm thinking about more with this and the way that things are responded to as far as the channel goes, I need to allocate some time to set aside for hip hop related content, and we're about to get back going on this Hip Hop and Dead album and doing the live streams for them. But yeah, great work, Scott. Like God, that you put in the perfect elements that glued that together to make it what it became, and it would not have been that way without your contribution. And God, that really helps me because I don't play keys like that. The same
Scotty,
way
you a
that
beast.
JRC, blessed with his jazz sprinkles on the eyelids. I need to make a thumbnail for that one too. But yeah, that really saves guys like us who make the beats and produce the music, but can't play traditionally. And when it comes to stuff like jazz elements, everything's just sampled, really. So to have true musicians who could actually play the keys over the piece
And not
is
do the
just
tink to
such
dink tink tink.
yeah, it's such a treat to have a true musician versus needing to sample because, otherwise it is just a bunch of tink to tink tink. So yeah, I
So,
appreciate
hey,
that. And speaking of which, 005 Dynasty. We just happened to mention the right thing at the right exact
right
time. So
moment.
speaking to 005 Dynasty's point that he's been making about the sampling, could you imagine the difference in that hip hop track being something that was sampled jazz notes rather than played directly from the person? So specifically, it was sent to him, and then he just did all that with it. Did the hip hop piece, but like I would have to understand more about music, but I'd just be taking them from the record or taking them from wherever sampled. While, yes, I could do that, and it sounds good on some elements like vocals and stuff like that, and even on drum beats and stuff, when it comes to playing keys like that, like really sprinkling in those jazz notes, you want somebody to do it. You don't
Yeah,
want to
no
grab a
doubt.
sample from a
Yeah,
record.
yeah,
You
no
don't want to
doubt.
go to TrackLib. You don't want to go somewhere else and grab a jazz note sample. If you want to get a jazz element or something like that, get the drum loop, get the percussive elements, get the vocal off of it or
Yeah,
whatever, get the horns even. You know what I mean? But
and
if you
then
could
go
get
get
a
Scotty.
player, go get Scotty.
Then
Go
go
get
get Scotty.
Scotty.
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Scott, for really
Oh,
gluing that track together and making
Mr.
it
Score.
the hip hop that it was, because I did not even think about getting Mos Def in there. I
Yeah,
did not think about doing that. And throwing that element in the end with the guru was just Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so great for it was the best we could have done, for a birthday piece.
Oh,
So
hey, did you see that comment Scott made earlier? He said he thinks I'm like around 35. I'm older than obviously older than Viral and older than Destructo. So you might want to throw like another 30 on there or something. At least.
so
But I
if you
appreciate it.
add
I do
if you
appreciate it.
add 10 years, it's still not enough.
Exactly. If you were to add 20 years, it's still not enough. And that's the truth. You could add another 20. But yeah, it is. Hey, look, you know what? Can't like I, what is it? I don't know. Remember, hey George, you got to help
Appreciate
me
you,
out with
Scott, for
that
sure.
movie, George. Um, what's that movie where they asked? I think the actor she asked. She said, uh, "Do you want to live forever?" I don't know what movie that was. Maybe it was Highlander or some shit like that. I don't know. It was one of those movies. But "Do you want to live forever?" was the line, and that's just it, man.
Uh,
You know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I'm not 90 this week, Destructo. You still in the range right there,
he
bro.
was 70 last week. Now he's 90 something.
No, I'm no, I'm below 70, but I'm right in that mix, right? So,
Oh,
but
you're
yeah,
below
man,
62. Come on.
man, yeah, I'm getting up there, bro.
He's
Like
still in
that's
the
it.
50s category. Let's just put it there. Let's just put
Getting up
it
there,
there.
bro. I'll take it. I'll pretend.
You are not a boomer
Oh,
yet.
man, Scotty, Scotty, man. You's a young man, dog. You's a young man. Talking
51
about
here.
you,
Yeah. Okay.
you's a young man, Scotty, young man.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't mean this be the room for the old folks to be hanging out in here, but you guys got to understand that we've
Let
been
me go
through
get my
this
walker.
industry. We've been through our history. We've been through been through the birth of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like we've all traveled through our spaces in this industry and have developed the way that we have to where we're still doing music after all these years. So y'all motherfuckers need to listen to us, and when it comes
Good.
to
I was like,
other
where are you go?
people,
I was like, where are you going with that? Right? Like,
when it comes to people within our space that are within our age that are, you guys are a part of this discussion too. But I don't want the young people to get discouraged as if we're just a bunch of old rusty dusties over here
hey,
talking
look,
some shit like we don't know what's going
George.
on,
Hey, look, but George just said. He said, "Yo, this is the AARP room up in here." So that
Yo, but
there's some reality in that though.
well,
So
it's just like what I was saying about the ageism thing last week. There's something to be said about the finite capabilities of the human body. So, in that
yeah,
sense, there
yeah,
are limitations. But in the sense of your brain and your development, when it comes to your spirit growing, that expands and does not suppress at all. So when you get older, it
mhm,
gets better, you get wiser, you get more developed, you get better at your craft. If you've still been doing the music the whole time, you're doing the music now, even if you take a break, you'll find out
yeah,
that that break didn't mean shit and you've been developing subconsciously this whole time and you're making better music than you ever and you learn quicker and there's just so many things that you would think are tapped out at that point. And Kendrick Lamar, coming back to where this all started in this conversation today, you know, um, yeah, he's got the juice to run it now. So I'd like to see where he goes once he reaches Jay-Z's level and he's got that age and empire behind him. Because if it weren't for Jay-Z, like he said, I forgot who said that in the chat. This moment, along with a lot of others, wouldn't have happened. As much as I feel the way that I do about Jay-Z as an artist, I do, respect his craft and his position as a conglomerate, in the
yeah,
industry and
yeah.
being the voice behind the person who offered this platform to Kendrick Lamar and made this moment happen for him. And high
And for the
fives
rest
all
of the world,
around.
yeah, exactly. For the rest of the world too, and I just wanted you to know, Riley and I, obviously, we're going to be working on some other stuff too, not just obviously the show. But I would love, Scotty, one of these days in the future, work with you and Uncle Jerry. Man, I have just heard all kinds of stuff about you too as well. And man, old studio effects. Man, I heard stuff about you too, man. So
I
like,
don't even know if I got you here. Let me just do it again.
I'll have to figure something out.
Studio. Welcome.
Yeah, we gonna have to figure something out because you guys, I just heard you guys are just all collectively just really amazing people in that regard. So
I really
more to it.
like not being able to tear my brain away from this specific project that we did. That's the type of production style that I want to fit into this hip hop album.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Scott, you know, when you could tear yourself away and get some time together, you know, we'll take care of you. And I would love for you to contribute some notes on some of these hip hop beats, and do some songs for real. You know, a couple of them at least. You know, and you know, it won't be no sampled rapper. It'd be me and whoever else is working on the project. But this album is going to be a collaborative effort. And that's another thing, you know, in closing to this, you know, this is a win, you know, for the culture. It's a win for the hip hop. You know, it's a win for the businesses. It's a win for commercial advertising. It's a win for, you know, it's a win for everything and everyone. So it's kind of hard to speak out against it and say, well, there's something I didn't like here. Well, if there's something you didn't like, then maybe you're just a little bit out of touch here, and you know, probably should go take a nap or something.
I'll reiterate. If you don't know who Kendrick Lamar is by now, and you don't know what happened, just stop using computers, and yeah, give it up. Give up technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to go back to the stone tablets. You know what I'm saying? So some of us are old enough to use stone tablets. That wasn't a signal.
Remember those.
Start making fun of me, guys.
Yeah, you know, God's such a big moment for an artist, no matter who you are. You know, like if this were, I mean, you're talking about marginalized in so many different ways, and it's just hip hop, West Coast, Compton, you know, just go down the list of everything, and it's just like, got it. Yeah, now what? You know, and I think the world is waiting and ready, but I think this teaches everybody that hip hop's alive and well. That's for one thing. And for another, it doesn't matter what type of track it is. If it's meant to transcend, it will.
Yeah, and everybody, I mean, like, even, I don't know if you guys are praying people or not. I mean, if you're not, you're not. But I'm just saying, like, for those who are praying people, I'm saying, like, yo, pray for that young man, for Kendrick, that he lives, and they don't do something to that man for you know, having that civil rights demonstration on live TV with the NFL. So, but you know, yeah, shout out to everybody involved in that great production, and all the dancers too, man. Like, big love, shout to all the dancers, and you know.
Yeah, I didn't even. I heard somewhere where the group was or whatever, but I forgot the name of their organization or whatever. But yeah, they are
right. And they put in work.
Tremendous talent behind that choreography, especially all the change ups in the stage setting and all that other stuff. It's a lot easier as an artist, even though it's of great difficulty going through it yourself. But having that type of choreography as such a large group to fill out such a large super stadium, you know, with such a big area to cover, you know, you guys definitely covered it. I loved when they did the peekaboo behind the X. I saw somebody, I saw somebody from the crowd perspective showing that, and I'm like, oh, that is dope. That is so dope, because we only saw it from our televisions or computers or whatever, what the main cameras were showing. So seeing some of these sights from it, you know, you got to understand when you have a stage that big, when you have that much ground to cover, you need to have choreography and it needs
Mm-hmm.
to be down pat. And they got that down
It
and
was
nailed
crispy,
that.
man. That whole shit was crispy, dog. It
Yeah.
was well done. Well done.
So,
But hey,
so good.
with that, guys, I must bid everybody adieu as I have another booking coming up right after this. So,
So,
um, love you guys.
yeah, for those of you here who are new, just to chime in on this conversation, we're going to have conversations every week, Sunday Pacific Standard Time at 3 p.m. You know, if
Week.
there's something going on in the universe, like
That
a Super
time.
Bowl event, like what last weekend produced, will come on like an hour earlier or something like that. But yeah, just take a lesson from this big moment here, this huge monumental moment, and realize that you have the ability to have this moment too. And, you know, hip hop is alive and well. And, you know, no matter where you're from, you know, if you're ready to do it, you know, then you could do it and get down the way that you need to. Seize the moment, seize the day, embrace the zeitgeist. And
Yes.
yeah, we'll see you
Yes.
guys
Yes.
next week, and we'll see you guys through the week in the zeitgeist over here. Speaking of which, so
Definitely.
appreciate all you guys coming through. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, or just keep on lurking if that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do what you're
Yep.
gonna do.
That's it.
Take
And
care,
hey,
everybody.
guys,
Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
eagle
I am
eyes,
the one
big
son
shots.
for another awesome conversation about
Got you, Byron. I
all
got you.
this madness. Yeah.
And yo, strength and honor, people. Strength and honor.
Take care, everybody. Love you guys.
2 fingers.
Peace,
Peace,
y'all.
peace.